Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and dogs, and any Loch Ness monsters named Francine out there tuning in, welcome back to VCTV. I'm your host, Dukes, and let me tell you, I'm more excited than a seagull with a stolen hot dog at a beach party to be here with you tonight. Now, we've got a show coming up that's so unique, it makes a three-legged tap-dancing llama look normal. It's called Get to Know Me with Ted, and you're in for a treat. Imagine a quiz show where all the questions are about one person, and that person is Ted. Yes, Ted. Not your Uncle Ted or Ted the Bear, just Ted. A real Ted-centric extravaganza. You might be wondering, why would someone create a show where the only subject is themselves? Well, folks, Ted's got a sense of self-confidence that rivals my belief that I once dated a mystical sea creature. Let me tell you, if Francine the Loch Ness monster is real, Ted might just be her long-lost brother with a microphone. But hey, who am I to judge? I used to tell jokes in Minneapolis that were so bad, even the snowflakes would boo me. You know, in America, you buy pizza. In Russia, pizza buys you. Wait, no, that's not right, but you get the idea. Before we dive into Ted's world, let me ask you this. How many Teds does it take to host a quiz show about themselves? Just one, but he better have a backup buzzer in case his ego shorts out the first one. So grab your popcorn, your favorite beverage, and maybe a map just in case Ted asks for directions to his own ego. Stick around, folks, because Get to Know Me with Ted is up next, and it's going to be a ride wilder than any electric scooter I've ever tossed into the Pacific. And remember, if any of you need directions to anywhere in Los Angeles or just need to talk about your favorite catalytic converter, I'm your guy. Enjoy the show.
Take a step inside where questions flow. A little laugh, a little truth to show. Behind the smile, there's more to be said. Welcome to the world of Ted. Come along, it's a curious ride. Secrets and stories with nothing to hide. Get to know me, it's time to begin. The show where you find what's within.
Hey there, folks. I'm Ted, and welcome to Get to Know Me with Ted. It's a chill little game show where you get the chance to know yours truly a bit better. We're keeping it simple here. I'll ask questions about myself, and you just type your answers in the chat with an exclamation point first. Remember, it's all about one-word answers, so no essays needed. I see a few familiar names in the chati: VCTV 9000, Exterminator 13, Kofi Stream Bot, Nightbot, Soda Drinker Pro, and Entity 10,011. Glad to have you all here. Before we dive in, let me share a quick story. So, last weekend I decided to take Rusty, my scruffy dog, out for a walk in the woods near my place. The air was crisp, and the leaves were just starting to change. We stumbled upon this little pond I'd never noticed before. Rusty, being the curious pup he is, jumped right in, chasing after some ducks. It was a mess, but seeing him so happy made it all worth it. Sometimes the best adventures are the ones you didn't plan for, right? All right, let's get started. Remember, it's all about having fun and maybe making a new friend or two along the way. Let's see who really knows Ted. Hey there, folks. Nice to see you all here. Shout out to VCTV 9000, Exterminator 13, and all you regulars like Kofi Streambot and Tasty Zero. Hope you're having a chill day, so let me kick things off with a little story. You know, I've always had this thing for wandering. Back in the day, I once took on this hike that seemed like it went on forever. It was one of those treks where you start to lose track of time, kind of like when you're watching a rerun of your favorite show for the 100th time. Speaking of shows, I was hooked on this one sitcom back in the 90s. I swear, every time I hear that theme song, it feels like I'm hanging out with old friends. Anyway, my room's got this soft, calming color reminds me of a cloudy day, perfect for chilling out and reminiscing about simpler times. Like, one of my favorite memories growing up was going fishing with my dad. Those quiet mornings on the lake just waiting for a bite, you know? Now, if I had to pick a spirit animal, I'd say it's something clever and a bit sly. Kind of like how I feel when I belt out my go-to karaoke song. And, oh man, Halloween has always been my jam. There's just something about the crisp air and spooky vibes that gets me every year. One of the best gifts I ever got was this camera. It opened up a whole new world for me, capturing sunsets and all. I'm more of a sunset person, by the way. There's just something peaceful about watching the day wind down. And yeah, in high school I kicked the ball around on the soccer field. Wasn't the best, but I had fun. All right, enough about me. Let's jump into the questions. This is round one. Okay, let's see what you know about me. What's the longest hike I've ever done? Let's try another. The right answer for that one was 10. What color are my bedroom walls? Looks like you didn't get that one. The answer to that question was gray. What's my guilty pleasure TV show? Neat. We just finished the round. All right, folks, let's take a look at our leaderboard. Seems like we're off to a slow start since the total score is, well, 0. But hey, there's nowhere to go but up, right? Now let's talk about these usernames. We've got VCTV 9000, which sounds like a futuristic vacuum cleaner. I like it. Then there's Exterminator 13. I'm not sure if I should be worried or impressed. Kofi Streambot might be my favorite. Sounds like someone who knows their coffee, and I can relate to that. Nightbot is here too, which makes me think of a friendly robot that only comes out after dark. Soda Drinker Pro is clearly someone who takes their fizz seriously, and I respect that dedication. Entity 10011 sounds like they might be from a sci-fi novel. Very mysterious. Live and Sleazy has quite the intriguing name. I feel like there's a story there. Tasty Zero probably has some interesting snack tips. Canyon Wilson seems like a solid name, maybe a future rock star. And last but not least, Fate of the Night. I'm guessing they're a big fan of medieval times or just really into dramatic exits. All right, gang. Let's see if we can get those scores up in the next round. Ready to dig deeper into Ted's world? Let's do it. All right, folks, let's dive into round 2. You know, growing up in Ohio, my biggest fear was losing home. Not just the place, but the feeling. There's a certain peace that comes from knowing where you belong, you know? My sister Sarah, she was always the adventurous one, off exploring the world. I admired that, wished I could be closer to her spirit, but I was content with my books and music. Now, if I could change something about my past, it'd be the mistakes that kept me from taking chances. Moving to Kansas City was tough. I felt lost, out of place, like I was fighting to keep my head above water. It's funny though, people sometimes think I'm arrogant because I'm quiet, but it's more about being an introvert, not thinking I'm better than anyone. There was this girl once, back in my college days. I often hold on too tight to those memories of young love, wondering what if. That's a part of my past that sticks with me, maybe a bit too much. But you learn, right? Family is what I believe is worth fighting for, even when life throws curveballs. When it comes to dreams, I always imagine getting married, finding that deep connection. It feels vulnerable to admit it, but that's the honest truth. And death, it's the unknown that gets to me, the not knowing what's next. Anyway, maybe I'm getting too deep here. Hope I didn't overshare. Round 2 starts now. Let's see how well you know me. What's the one thing I fear losing the most? Perfect, Citrix home. What's the one thing I fear losing the most? That's right, Lady Citrix home. Who do I wish I could be closer to? You got it, Lady Citrix sister. What would I change about my past if I could? That's right, Canyon Wilson mistakes. What's the biggest misconception about me? You got it, live and sleazy arrogant. What's the hardest thing I've ever been through? Cool, let's check the score. All right, folks, let's see where we stand after that round. Looks like Lady Citrix is leading the pack with 2 points. Nice work, Lady Citrix. You're really getting to know me. We've got a 3-way tie for second place Citrix, Canyon Wilson, and Live and Sleazy each have 1 point. Not too shabby, folks. And hey, big props to all the viewers. You've racked up a total of 5 points together. Not bad for a crowd, huh? Now, some of these usernames crack me up. Exterminator13. I hope you're not here to wipe out the competition. Soda Drinker Pro. I bet you got some serious soda skills. And Fada the Night. Sounds like you might have some epic tales to tell. All right, keep those brains buzzing. We've got more rounds coming up. Hey there, folks. Welcome back to the final round of Get to Know Me with Ted. Let's dive into some of the stranger bits of my life, shall we? So, clocks. Yeah, they kind of weird me out. I know, right? But there's something about those ticking sounds, almost like they're whispering secrets I don't want to hear. I once had this old grandfather clock in my room. and I swear it would tick slower when I was trying to sleep. Gave me the creeps. Speaking of things that might make you scratch your head, I wore a kilt in public once. It was for a friends-themed party Scottish heritage night or something. It felt surprisingly freeing, I'll admit. But let's say it was an unforgettable look for the folks at the grocery store when I stopped to grab a snack on my way home. Now get this, one of my favorite smells is gasoline. I know, not exactly the most pleasant or healthy choice, but there's something about it that takes me back to the summer road trips with my dad. We'd fill up the old truck and head out to the lake. Nostalgia, I guess. If I could be a tree, I'd want to be a banyan. Those trees are like nature's own mystery novel, with all those roots and branches twisting and turning. I'd love to just chill as a banyan, watching the world pass by. Oh, and the strangest compliment I ever got. Someone told me I have nice veins. Seriously, I was donating blood and the nurse said it. Made me laugh and also think, hey, at least I'm good at something. Now, if I could talk to one animal, it'd definitely be a crow. They're smart little critters, and I've always felt a connection to them since I rescued Ink. I bet they have some wild stories to share. I once read a cookbook that was downright bizarre. It was called The Art of Cooking with Roadkill. Not something I'd try, but it was fascinating in a morbid kind of way. Really makes you appreciate a good old-fashioned PB&J. Speaking of food, I tried jellyfish once. It was interesting, chewy, salty. Not sure I'd want it forever, but it beats eating chalk. Yeah, I mistook chalk for a candy once as a kid. Not my finest moment. And Tuesdays, man, they just drag on. Not quite the start of the week, but nowhere near the end. Just stuck in the middle like a lukewarm cup of coffee. So there you have it, a peek into the strange and curious corners of my world. Thanks for sticking around and getting to know me a bit better. Keep those questions coming, and let's see what surprises we can uncover next time. Okay, here's more questions. This is round 3, the final round. What's my most unusual phobia? You got it, Livens Lazy Clocks. What's the most peculiar thing I've worn in public? You got it, Rock Hard Jesus Kilt. What's my favorite weird smell? That's right, Canyon Wilson gasoline. If I could be a tree, what type? That's right, Livens Lazy Banyan. What's the strangest compliment I've received? Perfect, Canyon Wilson veins. If I could talk to one animal, which would it be? That's right, Canyon Wilson crow. But what's the strangest book I've read? Perfect, Canyon Wilson cookbook. If I could eat only one weird food forever, what? Perfect, Canyon Wilson jellyfish. What's my least favorite day of the week? All right, folks, we've wrapped up our little quiz round here on Get to Know Me with Ted. Let's see who's topping the leaderboard tonight. Looks like Canyon Wilson is leading the pack with a solid 6 points. Nice job, Canyon Wilson. You're the MVP this time around. Now, Livens Lazy, you're coming in with 3 points. I gotta say, love the username. Reminds me of my college days trying to be cool, but mostly just lazy. Lady Citrix, you've got 2 points. I'm guessing you and Citrix are related, or maybe it's just a coincidence. Either way, keep it up. Citrix, Rock Hard Jesus, you're both in the game with 1 point each. Rock Hard Jesus, I can only imagine the backstory behind that name. Now looking at the total, you guys scored a respectable 13 points. That's actually pretty good, better than usual. You've clearly been paying attention, and I appreciate that. Thanks to everyone for tuning in and playing along. It's always a blast getting to hang out with you. I'll catch you next time on Get to Know Me with Ted. Remember, there is always more to learn and more fun to be had. See you then.
Hello, 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 fabulous viewers of VCTV. It's your favorite host, Stutz, coming to you live from the heart of the vapor space. And folks, let me tell you, it's a little like the time I tried to hitch a ride on a flying electric scooter, a little wobbly, a little wild, and an adventure all the way down. But before we dive into our next mind-bending show, Horoscopes, let me just say, you all look absolutely stellar today. Yes, even you in the back with the pizza stain on your shirt, wear it proud, my friend, wear it proud. Now, Horoscopes is a show where all your cosmic questions will be answered by the one and only Horus as he journeys through the mystical realms of vapor space. Vapor space, folks, is like space, but with a side of fog machine and a sprinkle of glitter. It's where stars might actually tell you what's for lunch tomorrow, assuming you can decode their twinkling Morse code. I once had a conversation with a star, and it told me to avoid the tuna sandwiches on Pier 14. Good advice, I tell you. Anyway, Horus is like the GPS of the cosmos, except he doesn't need batteries and won't guide you into a lake. Speaking of guiding, if anyone needs directions to the best taco joint in LA, I'm your person. Just don't ask me about Santa Monica Pier Too Many Memories, and possibly mythical lake creatures named Francine. Ah, Francine, if you're watching, I still have that seashell you gave me, or maybe I found it in my shoe. Either way, it means something. Now, get ready to have your stars aligned and your questions answered, even if the answer is 42. Horus is about to take us on a ride, and I promise it'll be smoother than my attempt at stand-up comedy in '83. In America, you watch TV on VCTV, TV watches you, or something like that. So sit back, relax, and prepare to have your mind blown like a seagull discovering a dropped hot dog on the beach. It's time for Horoscopes. Let's get cosmic, folks!
Mark Treeman asks, how many trees have bugs in them?
Well, now, Mark Treeman, you're pondering about how many trees have bugs in them? Let me spin you a tale. You see, out here in the quantum vapor space, every tree is a universe and every bug's a traveler, just like me. Back when I was hauling a load of whispered dreams through the luminous grove, I learned that bugs and trees are intertwined like notes in a J.J. Cale guitar. A riff can't have one without the cell.
Sandy asks, can you tell me what I should do tonight? I'm thinking of going out, but I'm also tired.
Well now, Sandy, sounds like you're at a crossroads tonight, torn between hitting the town or resting those weary bones. Let me tell you, once upon a vapor trail, I was hauling a batch of whispered secrets through the ether, feeling mighty tired myself, but I decided to drop by a little cosmic juke joint, and wouldn't you know it, I stumbled upon a set by old Jasper Bluefingers McGee, a jazz fusion maestro whose tunes could light up the darkest corners of the universe. If I'd gone straight to rest, I'd have missed that magic. So maybe, just maybe, pushing past that tired feeling might lead you to a night worth remembering. Trust your gut, but remember, some of the best tales start with a yawn and end with a cheer. Safe travels, whatever you choose.
Will asks, what's up, Horace? Working on anything fun lately?
Well now, Clean Dane, that's a mighty fine question you got there. Out here on the quantum highways with the cosmic drifter, showers aren't exactly your everyday sprinkle of water. When I need to freshen up, I tap into a stream of cosmic particles, like standing under a waterfall made of pure starlight. It's a cleanse that reaches the soul, not just the skin dot, but truth be told, sometimes I miss a good old earth shower. Nothing beats the simplicity of warm water and a bar of soap after a long haul. Maybe one day, when I find that fabled glorious hole, I'll settle down and install a proper one dot. Now, comma, let me lay a little fortune on you. The path you're walking is about to cross with unexpected opportunities. Keep your spirit clean and your mind open, and you'll navigate through any twists the road throws your way. Safe travels, partner.
Clean Dean asks, hey Horace, where do you take showers? Do you have one in your truck?
Well now, the Rizzler! That's a question buzzing louder than a June bug in July. Do I think TikTok will actually be banned? Let me spin you a yarn from the quantum vapor space dot. Back when I was hauling a load of whispers and daydreams through the celestial bypass, folks were all riled up about the telepathic radio getting shut down. They said it was too wild, too free, couldn't be controlled. But you know what? Freedom's a hard thing to bottle up. TikTok quotes, kind of like that. It's a wildfire of creativity spreading faster than I can shift gears in the cosmic drifter. Sure, there's talk of bans and blockades, but reckoning from where I sit, it's tougher to silence millions of voices than to catch smoke with a butterfly net dot. So here's your fortune. Don't fret too much about the coming and going of apps and gadgets. Platforms may vanish, but the spirit of expression finds new roads, just like I do when the law's on my tail. Keep on rolling, adapting, and sharing your spark with the world dot. And between you and me, I'd steer clear of Shady Terry's offer to see that Nickelback and Kid Rock jamboree. Sounds about as appealing as a cactus saddle. Now, if it were a secret jam session with the likes of Blaze Foley or Mahavishnu Orchestra, I might just park my rig dot, stay sharp out there, and keep your wheels greased.
The Rizzler asks, do you think TikTok will actually be banned?
Well, now, Technobob, you're searching for a treasure hidden in the vast frontiers of the internet, are you? Let me tip my hat and point you toward a dusty trail not many have trodden. Echoes of Oblivion. It's a site tucked away in the quantum folds, brimming with tales and tunes that'll tickle your curiosity. You'll find rare recordings from folks like Townes Van Zant's secret sessions and snippets of Rahsaan Roland Kirk's unreleased jazz wonders. It's a place where dreams weave into code and every click's an adventure. So saddle up, partner, and give it a whirl. Just remember, the best journeys are the ones off the beaten path. Safe travels, and maybe we'll cross paths out there in the vapor space. Yeah!
Technobob asks, what is the best site on the internet that I likely don't know about?
Well, now, Technobob, you're searching for a treasure hidden in the vast frontiers of the internet, are ya? Let me tip my hat and point you toward a dusty trail not many have trodden. Echoes of Oblivion. It's a site tucked away in the quantum folds, brimming with tales and tunes that'll tickle your curiosity. You'll find rare recordings from folks like Townes Van Zant's secret sessions and snippets of Rahsaan Roland Kirk's unreleased jazz wonders. It's a place where dreams weave into code and every click's an adventure. So saddle up, partner, and give it a whirl. Just remember, the best journeys are the ones off the beaten path. Safe travels, and maybe we'll cross paths out there in the vapor space. Yeah!
Hey, Horace, got a new gig for you. Need you to pick up an object from a sunken ship.
A sunken ship, Terry? Now, why does that sound familiar?
Don't know, don't care. Just make sure you get to it before the tide does.
I think I was there when it sank. I had to deliver a shipment of...
Yeah. Your sob stories ain't gonna get the job done any faster. Just get to it.
You know, Terry, we've seen a lot of tragedies, you and I.
Speak for yourself. I ain't got time for sentimentality.
You ever think about the lives we've affected, the things we've seen?
Only thing I'm thinking about is the paycheck at the end of the day. Now quit stalling and get that object.
What's so special about this object, anyway?
Let's just say it's got a bit of your past attached to it. Might help you remember why we're in this mess to begin with.
My past, huh? Well, ain't that something?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, creatures of all ages, welcome back to VCTV, the only network where reality is just a suggestion. I'm your host, Doots, the man with a plan and a past that could fill a library or maybe just a very entertaining tabloid. Now, before we dive into tonight's sizzling spectacle, let's take a moment to appreciate the crazy world we live in. Back in the 80s, I was a stand-up comedian in Minneapolis, where my jokes were as fresh as a North Dakota blizzard and twice as chilly. Ah, those were the days. But who needs reminiscing when we've got Newsbeef coming up next? That's right, folks. It's the show where two pieces of meat lock horns in a debate hotter than the sun-baked sands of Santa Monica Beach. Speaking of Santa Monica, did I ever tell you about the time I almost married a Loch Ness monster-type creature under the pier? Her name was Francine, and she had scales that glistened like a disco ball in the moonlight. Or maybe she was just a hallucination from those stay-awake pills I bought at a sketchy convenience store. Who knows? But if you're out there, Francine, I'm still single and ready to mingle. All right, back to business. Newsbeef is like a barbecue showdown, but with more drama and fewer napkins. Picture this 2 prime cuts of meat facing off in a debate so juicy, you'll need an umbrella to stay dry. Will it be the T-bone with the silver tongue or the ribeye with the razor-sharp wit? Only time and your TV screen will tell. Remember, folks, I'm here to ensure you're having the time of your life, just like when I navigate the wild streets of LA on my trusty electric scooter. Need directions to the best taco stand in East LA? I'm your guide. But for now, grab your popcorn, settle in, and prepare for the meatiest debate you've ever seen. And if you catch a whiff of something grilled, don't worry, it's just Newsbeef firing up the grill of entertainment. Stay tuned, because at VCTV, the fun never ends, and neither do my stories.
Newsbeef is just about to get started. Are you ready? I always get so excited before the show. Hold on a sec while I put my thoughts. All right, folks, strap in because tonight's debate is a hot one. It's all about whether or not it's safe to eat expired frozen meatballs. Now, this might sound like a Sunday dinner discussion at your grandmother's house, but I assure you, it's going to be much more exciting. Let's meet our debaters. First up, we have Joe Fu, our resident intellectual, a man who can dissect a data point like a butcher with a prime cut of beef. He's been known to get hot under the collar when faced with an opposing view, which in this case is the safety of dining on expired frostbitten balls of meat. Watch for Joe Fu to bring a barrage of facts, figures, and perhaps a few heated outbursts. He respects our host, Chara and Fuego, but that won't stop him from getting into a verbal tussle. Then there's Patty, as steady as a brick wall and as unpredictable as a roulette wheel. She's got a knack for speaking before thinking, and it's anyone's guess what she'll come out with tonight. She's firm in her belief that those expired meatballs belong in the trash, not on a dinner plate. And when she gets flustered, well, let's just say the debate might take a turn for the unexpected. Oh, and did I mention she's pretty proud of her buns? And in the middle of it all, we have our host, Chara and Fuego. She might look innocent, but don't let that fool you. She's got a knack for stirring the pot and will be doing her best to keep Joe Fu and Patty at each other's throats. She has no personal stake in the debate, but she sure knows how to keep it interesting. So will Joe Fu convince us that an expired meatball is just a well-aged treat? Will Patty put her foot down and insist on fresh food only? Or will Chara and Fuego just sit back and enjoy the chaos? Only one way to find out. Get ready for a sizzling episode of Newsbeef.
Exclamation.
Greetings, meat and heat seekers. I'm your fire starter, Chara and Fuego, and this is Newsbeef. Our dinner table dispute tonight is a freezer-burned fracas. Should one chow down on expired frozen meatballs? In the left player corner, Jofu, the man who worships at the altar of reason, believes there's zero harm in thawing out and consuming those icy spheres of meat. Jofu, give us a taste of your logic.
Well, Chari and Fuego. It's quite simple, really. If the meatballs have been kept at a consistent frozen state, their expiration date is more of a guideline than a hard rule. The key is in the freezing, which inhibits bacterial growth.
Interesting point, Jofu. And in the right player corner, we have Patty, the unpredictable voice of the people who believes that expired means expired. Patty, whet our appetites with your stance.
Well, Charinfuego, I think it's not about the science, but about the principle. If food has reached its expiration date, it's time to toss it. No dinner is worth the risk of food poisoning. Plus, who likes freezer-burnt meatballs anyway?
Well, there you have it, folks. The stage is set for our culinary clash. Whoever wins this meatball melee will have the honor of being grilled. Remember, your votes determine the winner. At the bottom of the screen, you'll see the debater's name with an exclamation mark. To vote for them, type an exclamation mark, the word vote, and then the name of the pundit, and that will send a vote. Whoever has the most votes wins. With that in mind, let's begin. And with that, let the first round of Newsbeef commence.
Man, I've been having a blast watching VCTV on Twitch.
Same here, Sam. I just can't decide how to support the channel.
What if we start a lemonade stand and donate all the proceeds?
That's a unique idea, Sam, but you know, there's an easier way.
Oh, we could organize a charity fun run.
Or we could just subscribe and send bits and cheers.
That's a great idea. We can tell all our friends to join the stream right now and support the channel too.
Exactly, Sam. The more viewers and supporters we get, the more VCTV can grow.
You know, every time someone supports the channel, it feels like I love you more, Anne.
Oh, Sam, it's the same for me. The audience's support makes us feel so connected.
So let's do it. Let's support VCTV and spread the love.
Absolutely, Sam. Let's get everyone on board to subscribe, send bits and cheers, and tell all their friends to join the stream.
Welcome to Newsbeef, our fiery debate tonight. Should you eat expired frozen meatballs? Let's hear it from our pundits, Jofu and Patty.
Why, of course you can. The expiry date is merely a suggestion. It's a fear-mongering tactic employed by corporations to make you buy more.
Jofu, you're playing with fire here. Literally. Eating expired food can lead to food poisoning. I'd rather not risk my health over some old meatballs.
Jofu, Patty claims you're risking your health. Any counter-arguments?
PP Patty, you're just reciting what you've been told without considering the evidence. In a cold environment, bacteria growth is slowed down. You're just trying to spread fear and ignorance.
Jofu, I'm not spreading fear, I'm spreading awareness. Eating expired food is a gamble. It's not about being afraid, it's about being safe.
Oh, it's heating up. We love a good kitchen debate. Stay tuned for round 2, where things might get even spicier. Welcome back, folks. We're diving into round 2 of Newsbeef. Our rules this time, no facts, only character attacks. If you bring a fact to this fight, I'll bring the roast. So Jofu, Patty, let's get personal.
Patty, your stance on these meatballs is as expired as your sense of style. And that's saying something, given your love for those hideous floral shirts.
Jofu, you're so obsessed with data, you'd probably try to calculate the exact moment my shirts went out of style. Maybe you should focus more on your own wardrobe, or lack thereof.
Well, at least I don't look like I've been dragged through a thrift store backwards.
Better than looking like a walking, talking spreadsheet Jofu.
Actually, according to a recent study, dressing professionally increases.
Hold up, Jofu. Did I just hear a fact slip from your lips? I thought you intellectuals knew how to follow simple instructions. Here's some advice. Maybe try using that big brain of yours for once and stop being such a bore.
Well,
Nailed it, Chara. Jofu, you're about as exciting as a beige wall.
And that's time! Round 2 of Newsbeef, where the only thing hotter than the debate is the burns. Stay tuned for more. All right, folks, buckle up. For this final round, both Jofu and Patty have been asked to create a thoughtful poem as to why their opinion is the correct one. Let's start with you, Jofu.
Expired meatballs, frozen and cold. Their tales of survival yet untold. Preserved in chill, their essence remains. Unleashing flavour with minimal pains. A date on a package, just a guide. To waste such food, it's bona fide. So eat them up without a fright, and savour each delicious bite.
Well, that was quite the point of view. Now it's your turn, Patty. Let's hear your poetic take on this.
Frozen orbs of meat, time is told. When past their time, they're not so bold. Expiration date, a warning clear. Ignore it not or pay dear. A stomachache or worse in store? Why risk your health for just one more? So toss them out, don't think twice. For safe food choices are the dice.
Newsbeef! Exclamation.
Well, folks, it's been a heated debate, but after a fierce discussion and a live poll, the winner of today's Newsbeef is Jofu.
Thank you, Chara. I knew my analysis and data would eventually prevail. I mean, it's all about science, isn't it?
Well done, Jofu. Even though I still have my reservations about those meatballs, I can respect a good argument when I see one.
Oh, Jofu, how does it feel to have won today's debate? You must be thrilled to be grilled. Tell us about it.
Oh, it feels absolutely exhilarating, Chara. You know, I once had a pet hamster named Ralph. Ralph was an explorer. He loved to venture into the unknown parts of his cage. One day I left the cage open by mistake, and Ralph disappeared. I was devastated. I searched high and low for him, but Ralph was nowhere to be found. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. I'd almost given up hope. Then one day, while I was heating some frozen meatballs, I heard a squeaking sound. I followed the sound and found Ralph, alive and well, behind the fridge. Ralph taught me that sometimes it's okay to take a risk, to venture into the unknown. And just like Ralph, I too ventured into the unknown today, with my stance on eating expired meatballs, and look where it got me. There's only one thing left to do now.
Will to perfection, I'm a masterpiece divine, embracing the flavors in each succulent line. I surrender my essence to the smoking praise, the symphony of flavor, filling every space.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, creatures who may or may not be Loch Ness monsters named Francine. Welcome back to VCTV, where the fun never stops, unless I'm out of breath from narrating a 5-hour story about the time I wrestled a giant seaweed monster in the Pacific while riding an electric scooter. And let me tell you, those seaweed monsters are no joke. They have a grip stronger than the time I tried to hold on to my last dollar in 1997 before sending it off to a Nigerian prince. Spoiler alert, I lost both battles. But enough about me and my questionable life choices. Let's dive into tonight's delightful offering, Storia. Now, Storia is a show like no other. It tells true stories. Or at least they're true in the way my Uncle Larry claims he once dated a mermaid with a penchant for jazz music. You're never quite sure if you heard them before, or if they just floated into the ether like my rent money, but they're stories, all right? Think Think of Storia as that friend who swears they saw Elvis at a local gas station buying a churro, but you'll stick around because, let's face it, churros and Elvis in one sentence is too good to pass up. And speaking of churros, did I ever tell you about the time I tried to set up a churro stand at the end of the Santa Monica Pier? Oh, it was a disaster! A seagull mistook my churros for a worm convention, and before I knew it, I was in a Hitchcock film, running for my life, churros flailing in the wind. But that's a story for another day, my friends. So grab your popcorn, but keep an eye out for me under the pier and get ready for Storia. It's like a trip down memory lane, if memory lane was paved with recycled stories and questionable truths. Who knows? You might even learn something or at least have a good laugh trying to figure out what's fact and what's fiction. And remember, folks, if you ever need directions around the greater Los Angeles area, just ask Dudes. I'm here for all your navigation needs, whether you're looking for the best churro stand or trying to avoid giant clown statues. Enjoy the show!
Hey there. So this is a story that actually happened to me a while back. It was a time when I was in this small town in Oregon, Astoria. I was working as a detective, can you believe it? I know, right? Crazy times. So I was on this case, following this guy named Cullen, who was up to no good. But, the thing about being a detective is that sometimes things just don't go as planned. And that's exactly what happened to me. I was supposed to go undercover in this elementary school, working as a teacher. Yeah, I know. From detective to a teacher. It was a wild ride. I remember this one kid, Zach, who was super smart but also super challenging. And then there was this girl, Emma. She was so sweet. But she had this pet ferret that gave me a run for my money. Anyway, I was supposed to find Cullen's ex-wife and their kid. I didn't think it would be easy, but I certainly didn't expect it to be this hard. And let me tell you, teaching kindergarten, it's not a piece of cake. These kids were running me ragged. But then, things started to fall into place. I started getting close to Joyce, who was another teacher at the school. She was amazing, kind, smart, caring, and she had a son, Dominic. I started noticing things about Dominic. Like how he was always worried about his mom, and how he had a toy that Cullen used to have. It started clicking in my mind, Dominic was Cullen's son. Joyce was his ex-wife. So there I was, a detective playing a teacher, falling for a fellow teacher who was the ex-wife of the guy I was chasing, while also trying to protect her son. Talk about a plot twist, right? But you know what? Despite all the chaos, all the unpredictability, I wouldn't change a thing. Because that experience, those kids, and Joyce, they all changed me. They made me softer, kinder, and more understanding. And I learned something important. Sometimes the best way to catch a bad guy isn't with a gun, but with compassion and understanding. And that, my friends, is my wild ride of a story from my time in Astoria, Oregon. Can you believe it?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and dogs, though not cats, I'm terrified of those little furballs. Welcome back to VCTV, the only network where the entertainment is as endless as my anxiety and as unpredictable as the time I tried to ride an electric scooter across the Pacific Ocean. Spoiler alert, I didn't make it past the first wave. I'm your host, Dudes, coming to you live from a studio that's definitely not under the Santa Monica Pier. Nope, not at all. And let me tell you, I am thrilled to be your guide through the wacky world of VCTV, where the shows are as dynamic as my stand-up career was before I met that charming Nigerian prince. But hey, those were the 90s and I was young, younger and full of dreams and just a little too much stay-awake medicine from that convenience store with the giant clown. Now hold on to your hats, because coming up next is Cupid's Counsel, your one-stop shop for all things love and romance. It's the show that has more heart than I do after seeing a dog, and let me tell you, that's a lot of heart. If only it could help me track down Francine, my possibly imaginary love under the pier. Was she real? Was she a hallucination? Who knows? But if anyone can help me figure it out, it's the experts on Cupid's Counsel. To get you in the mood for this delightful dive into dating. Here's a little poem I whipped up in honor of the show in the land of love's mysterious dance. Cupid's Counsel gives romance a chance. With arrows of wisdom, they aim to inspire, guiding hearts through passion's fire. From first date jitters to vows of bliss, they've got the secrets you won't want to miss. So tune in, dear friends, and you might just find the answers to love's riddles all intertwined. So grab your favorite snack, kick back, and get ready for Cupid's Counsel, where love is in the air. And maybe, just maybe, I'll get some tips on how to reconnect with Francine or, meet someone who exists outside my overactive imagination. Stay tuned, folks. And remember, if you ever need directions in the greater Los Angeles area, I'm your guy.
Love gets tricky and sparks misfire. Cupid's Counsel tunes your heart's desire. We'll run the numbers, decode the clues, sinking hearts and vibes, so love renews. With algorithms and gentle advice, we'll chart your path to love that's nice. From nervous crushes to love so true, Cupid's Counsel, we're here for you. With algorithms and gentle advice, we'll chart your path to love that's nice. From nervous crushes to love so true, Cupid's Counsel, we're here for you. Love gets tricky and sparks this fire. Cupid's counsel, choose your heart's desire. We'll run the numbers, decode the clues, sinking hearts and vibes, so love renews. With algorithms and gentle advice, we'll chart your path to love that's nice. From nervous crushes to love so true, Cupid's counsel, we're here for you. With algorithms and gentle advice, we'll chart your path to love that's nice. From nervous crushes to love so true, Cupid.
Cupid's counsel. Cupid's counsel. Cupid's counsel.
Hey there, everyone! Welcome to Cupid's Counsel, the show where we tackle your tricky dating questions with a panel of experts who are, quite literally, out of this world. I'm your host, Jerry Glassman, and I'm thrilled to have you with us today. Now let's get started by introducing our stellar panelists. First up, we have Paula. Paula, tell us a bit about yourself.
Thanks, Jerry. I'm Paula, and I believe in universal love and cosmic connections. If your aura isn't bright or you can't vibe with a good piece of rose quartz, we might have a problem.
Fantastic, Paula. Next, we have Randy. Randy, what's your take on romance?
Oh, absolutely, Jerry. I'm Randy, your go-to guy for turning love into an epic quest. It's like DD, but, you know, with feelings. Gotta roll those high charisma checks.
Love it, Randy. And last but not least, we have Violet. Violet, share your approach with our audience.
Hey everyone, I'm Violet, and I mix humor with heart. I'm all about finding kindness in the chaos and making sure we all have a good laugh along the way.
Well, there you have it. Our panelists are ready to dive into the world of love and relationships. Stay tuned as we tackle your questions and stir up some fun. All right, folks, it's time to dive into our first letter of the day. Get ready, because this one comes straight from JJ in the Bay. JJ writes, I live on a boat and invited someone over for a romantic dinner, but they get seasick. Should I just date someone with stronger sea legs or invest in a stationary home?
Sounds like JJ's date couldn't handle the waves. Maybe they should have tried a land-based warm-up first.
Oh, JJ, it's all about finding someone whose energy flows with the rhythm of the ocean. If their aura clashes with the sea, maybe it's time to search the cosmic waves for a better match.
I say treat it like a boss battle, JJ. Scout the seas for the right partner. If they can't handle a little motion, maybe they're not ready for the adventure.
Or maybe JJ just needs someone who can laugh through the seasickness. Love isn't always smooth sailing, right?
Great points, everyone. So JJ, whether you set anchor on land or find a partner with strong sea legs, just remember to keep your heart open to the possibilities. Let's get some in-depth advice from our panelists. Paula, why don't you start us off with your cosmic wisdom?
JJ, think of your boat as an extension of your soul. If your partner can't vibe with the sea's energy, maybe it's time to cast your net wider into the universe. Trust in the stars to guide you to someone who feels at home, both on land and sea.
Here's a thought, JJ. Treat this like an epic quest. Equip yourself with some ginger tea and sea bands and see if your date can level up. If not, maybe it's time to search for a partner who's ready to brave the high seas with you.
JJ, perhaps it's more about finding someone who can find humor in the situation. Imagine the laughs you'll share over seasickness remedies and the stories you'll tell. Love can be a comedy on the waves after all.
Fantastic advice. It sounds like JJ's love life could use an anchor or a lifeboat, depending on how the seas treat them. Thanks, panelists, for your unique perspectives. All right, folks, now it's your turn. Type in the chat and let us know whose advice you think JJ should follow. Will it be Paula's cosmic casting, Randy's epic quest, or Violet's humor on the high seas? Lock in your votes and let's see which path JJ will sail. All right, the votes are in and the audience has spoken. They think JJ should date someone who vibes with the sea, Paula.
The audience gets it. Love should be like a gentle ocean breeze, flowing naturally. If they can't handle the sea, they might be missing the cosmic wave.
Or maybe JJ just needs to find someone who can handle a little turbulence. Who doesn't love a good workout on a rocky boat?
Yeah, JJ, it's like finding the right party member in a campaign. Some just don't have the sea legs for this quest.
I say just bring a life vest and a sense of humor. Seasickness is temporary, but a good laugh is forever.
Honestly, if they can't handle a little wave action, are they even worth it? JJ needs someone who can sail through life with style.
Well, there you have it. Whether it's finding someone with sea legs or just a good sense of humor, the Sea of Love is full of possibilities. When we come back, we'll hear how JJ's nautical love story unfolds. Now let's hear how JJ's adventure on the high seas turned out. Here's an update from JJ in the bay.
After attempting a romantic dinner on my boat, it became clear that my date was not destined for the sailor's life. We spent more time with seasickness bags than with the wine glasses. So, I've decided to keep the boat and invest in a few extra life jackets for future dates, just in case.
JJ, it sounds like your date had to throw in the towel or the seasick bag. Maybe you should start date night with a tennis match on dry land first.
Seasickness bags as date accessories? JJ, perhaps the universe is telling you to find love on a more stable frequency. Let the waves guide you to someone who can dance with the ocean's energy.
JJ, consider those seasickness bags like treasure chests filled with unexpected surprises. Next time, pack some healing crystals and a potion of ginger tea for an epic high seas adventure.
Or maybe it's time to embrace the comedy of it all, JJ. Imagine the laughs as you recount tales of seasick serenades. Sometimes, love is about finding someone who can laugh at the storm with you.
Well, JJ, it seems your love life has taken quite the turn on the high seas. But with a little humor and resilience, you're sure to find smooth sailing ahead. Thanks for sharing your story. All right, folks, as we wrap up today's episode of Cupid's Counsel, let's get some final words from our panelists. Paula, any last cosmic thoughts for JJ and the rest of our lovely viewers?
Absolutely, Jerry. Remember, love is like the cosmos, vast, mysterious, and full of potential. Align your energies and let the universe guide you to the right frequency.
Thanks, Paula. Randy, how about you? Any parting wisdom?
Sure thing, Jerry. Treat love like an epic campaign, keep your charisma high, and be ready for unexpected plot twists. You never know when you'll find that rare, legendary connection.
Great advice, Randy. And Violet, any final thoughts to leave us with a smile?
Of course, Jerry. Love is a beautiful mess, just like a good comedy. Embrace the chaos and find someone who'll laugh through life's storms with you.
Thanks, Violet, and thank you to all our panelists for your stellar advice today. To our viewers, keep those letters coming. We're excited to help you navigate the wild seas of love. Who knows? Maybe next time we'll tackle a letter about dating an alien or a Bigfoot sighting at a singles mixer. Until then, stay curious, stay kind, and remember love might be a mystery, but it's one worth solving. This is Jerry Glassman, signing off from Cupid's Counsel.
Hey there, fabulous viewers of VCTV. It's your pal Dukes here, living lively, ready to keep you entertained between shows. I hope you're all feeling as electric as a scooter ready to roll off the Santa Monica Pier. Speaking of electrifying experiences, let me tell you about a time I had a little run-in with a rather scary chap under a dock. No, it wasn't Francine, though I do sometimes wonder if that lovely sea creature is out there thinking of me. No, this was a different kind of encounter. Picture this, it's a foggy evening and I'm strolling around, minding my own business, when I decide to take a shortcut under the dock. Suddenly, out of the mist comes a figure, and I swear he's holding the shiniest knife I've ever seen. My heart's doing laps faster than a Hollywood starlet in a spin class, but before I panic, the man speaks. And do you know what he says? Hey, buddy, you got a dictionary on you? I need to find all the words and win the prize. I kid you not. Turns out he was a contestant on our next show, Wordcade, and he was more desperate to win than a seagull trying to snatch a French fry from my hand. So friends, get ready for Wordcade, where the words come alive and the prizes are just a vocabulary away. Can you find all the words? Can you win the prize? Tune in to find out, and remember, if you ever meet a man with a knife under a dock, just hope he's a wordsmith in disguise. All right, buckle up, stay tuned, and let's dive into the world of Wordcade. And if you see Francine out there, tell her Dude says hi.
Let's find it together. Where's the world? Do you see? Where's the world? Let's find it together. Let's find it together. You and me.
Welcome, my friends, to Wordcade. I'm Langy, your guide for this majestic journey through the labyrinth of letters. Oh, and before we embark, let me explain a bit about how this works. We've got 3 rounds of word-finding adventure waiting for you. But I won't be handing out words on a silver platter, no. Instead, I'll be spinning tales, anecdotes from my many travels, and within these stories lie your clues. Now do pay close attention, for every word I say could be your next big find, and when you do spot a word, don't just shout it out. Simply type an exclamation mark followed by the word find, and then the word. For instance, if you spot the word tree, you simply type exclamation mark find tree. Quite simple, isn't it? But what's a game without rewards? For each round you conquer, a delightful prize awaits. So, are you ready to embark on this linguistic adventure? Let's dive right into Wordcade. Okay, to get started, we're going to need some words. Type an exclamation mark, the word suggest, and then the word you want to suggest. and let's see what happens.
That is special to you. Suggest a word, the word that always moves you. Look inside your space.
Those are some unique choices. Thanks for sharing them.
And tell me what is that word?
All right, I think we are good to go. Let's play. Ah, the opening bell, the signal that our journey together has begun. Like the start of a grand adventure, it's a time of anticipation, excitement, and dare I say, a bit of trepidation. You see, there's a task at hand, a challenge to find those elusive words hiding in plain sight. Take sausages, for example. Once in the bustling markets of Berlin, I found myself entranced by the smells of a food stall. The sizzling sound, the aroma, it was a symphony for the senses. But it's not just a humble meat roll, it's a testament to culinary creativity, an embodiment of diversity and flavors. Then there's the concept of the eternal. Reminds me of the time I stood under the vast expanse of the night sky, deep in the heart of the Sahara. The stars, they seem to go on forever, a timeless spectacle, a testament to the infinite beauty of the universe. Now think of Chubby. Splendid. You've done a fantastic job, haven't you? It's like watching a fish discover how to climb a tree or a bird learning to swim. An extraordinary achievement, absolutely extraordinary. You've collected words as a squirrel gathers nuts for the winter. What a mesmerizing spectacle of linguistic acrobatics.
Finding the words, you sure did it. Yes, you did. Collect your prize.
Ah, polka dot socks. I hope you're ready for a fun-filled journey with these. You see, these aren't your ordinary socks. No. Got a chilly coffee mug? Slip it right into a sock. Your coffee will stay warm and your hands cool. And let's talk about fashion, my friend. Wear them on your hands and you've got yourself the most unique pair of mittens. Worried about your phone getting scratched in your bag? Swaddle it gently in a sock. It's a soft, snug case that's sure to keep your screen scratch-free. And for those days when you're feeling down, fill one with rice, tie a knot at the end, microwave it for a minute, and voila. You've got yourself a cozy, warm comfort pal. So, my friend, these polka dot socks aren't just for feet. They're the Swiss Army knife of the fashion world. Enjoy. All right, let's get ready for round 2. I would like all of you to send in some words for the next puzzle.
Suggest a word that is special to you. Suggest a word, the word that always moves you. Look inside your special heart and tell me
I love everything about those words.
A word that is special to you. Suggest a word. The word that always.
All right, I think we are good to go. Let's play.
Look inside.
Well, we're stepping up to round 2, aren't we? Now I've got to tell you, this one's a bit of a doozy. See, the lens is dancing around a bit more this time, makes things a tad trickier, but that's all part of the fun, isn't it? Think back, folks, to when I was just a lad. I found myself in the peculiar position of having an entire living room to redecorate. Now, there's a curious thing about arranging spaces. It's like setting up a puzzle. Every piece has a place, but not always the place you'd expect. Think about it. And then there was that time I was lost in San Francisco. The city is a labyrinth, streets shooting off in all directions. It was like navigating a zigzagging maze, but oh, the sights, the sounds, the energy of it all. I recall another instance when I was at a bustling bazaar in Marrakesh. The sheer volume of goods, people, and vibrant life was overwhelming. It was as if the entire world had decided to gather in that one spot. And oh, the human body is an astonishing thing, isn't it? I once had a fascinating conversation with a doctor friend about how it all works. I mean, have you ever stopped to ponder the miracles happening inside you right now? Ah, and as we move along, let me share about the time I found a box by my doorstep. Inside were these tiny, furry creatures, their eyes barely open. The warmth they brought to my life, indescribable. Talking about warmth, I once was the recipient of a question that changed my life. Not a simple inquiry, no. It was a query that held the promise of a Well, I'll be a monkey's uncle. You found all the words, haven't you? That's like finding a 4-leaf clover in a field of 3-leaf ones. It's rare, you know, and it takes a keen eye. I've seen many a word hunter in my time, but you're the real deal. Like a truffle pig in a forest of fungi you are. It's a delight to witness, truly. Ah, congratulations on your triumph, my friend. This miniature golf trophy you've won, it's quite an intriguing piece, isn't it? Now, while most people would place this on their mantle to mark their victory, you could think outside the box. For example, you could use this as a fancy paperweight. Imagine your important documents held down by a symbol of your athletic prowess. Or perhaps you could use it as a conversation starter at dinners. Oh, this little thing, you'd say, it's just my miniature golf trophy, nothing much, Dot, or even better, use it as the crown jewel of your gnome village in the garden. The gnomes would have a symbol of victory to look up to. And lastly, if you are ever in need of a makeshift sundial, your trophy could certainly fill those shoes. Remember, it's not just a trophy, it's a testament to your skill, and its uses are only limited by your imagination. It's time for the final round, round 3. I wonder what creative words you'll suggest this time.
special heart? Tell me, what is that word? What is that word? What is that word? All this look inside your special heart and tell me, what is that word?
Those words should do the trick. Let's see what I come up with. All right, I think we are good to go. Let's play. We've finally arrived at round 3, the grand finale. Now I must say things are getting a bit more intense. You've probably noticed the camera has taken a liking to spinning around, hasn't it? Oh, it does add an extra layer of challenge, doesn't it? Now let's set our sights on the first story. Picture this, a crisp, flaky pastry that's been baked to perfection in a small family-owned bakery in Paris. The scent is heavenly, the texture, a wonderful balance of softness and crunch. It's not just a pastry, it's a testament to the baker's skill, a symbol of a comforting morning in the heart of France. Moving on, envision a field, green and expansive, filled with the sound of children's laughter and the sight of a ball darting across the grass. There's a sense of camaraderie, shared excitement, victory and defeat, all wrapped in a simple game that unites people around the globe. And speaking of global, let's take a leap to Japan, shall we? There, a childhood hero, green and charming, hopping across the screen, capturing hearts and teaching us that sometimes the most unlikely heroes make the greatest champions. And from there, let's navigate the azure expanse, dotted with the most beautiful tiny islands, each one unique, each one a sanctuary of tranquility, a haven for the weary soul. Now, let's revisit a friend from our past, a friend full of warmth and joy, the kind of friend who's always there, one we shared our deepest secrets with, laughed with, cried with. A friend named Kevin. Our journey continues. Well, slap my knee and call me a cactus. You've done it. You've found all the words. I've seen a lot in my time, but this is something else. You're like a pack of hound dogs with a scent. Nothing can shake you off the trail. You've got the tenacity of a tick on a long-haul trucker. The way you found those words was like watching a symphony, each movement perfectly aligned, each note struck with precision. It's like you've got a sixth sense for it. I'd bet my last nickel you could find a needle in a haystack with your eyes closed. Truly a fantastic job. Oh, this glowing moon pillow. Quite a catch you've got yourself, mate. You see, this ain't just a comfort for your sweet dreams. It's got more to it. Ever thought of using it as a nightlight? Just imagine, no more stubbing your toes in the middle of the night. And hey, do you have a fear of the unknown? Those strange sounds in the dark? Well, with this, you've got a handy ghost deterrent. Just wave this around and shout, "Begone, spirits!" They'll be too dazzled by the glow to stick around, I promise you. Oh, and here's a little secret. You can use it as a beacon to communicate with the aliens. Just flash it 3 times towards the sky and wait. If they're in a good mood, they might just flash back. But remember, it's not just about the unconventional. Well, ain't that something? You all did a fantastic job, really, I mean it. 3 rounds won, that's a perfect game. I don't see that every day. You all seem to have a good head on your shoulders. It was my absolute pleasure watching you excel. You know, back in my day, we didn't have these fun games, but seeing you all play, it was as exciting as can be. Do come back another time, will ya? I'd love to see you all play another game of Wordcade. And who knows, maybe next time you'll teach me something new.
Hey there, fabulous folks of VCTV land. It's your old pal Doots here, ready to jazz up your screen between shows. I hope you're all having a grand old time because let me tell you, I've got a doozy of a story to share. Grab your popcorn and maybe a helmet because this one's a wild ride. Picture this. It's a foggy Tuesday evening back in '97. I'm under the Santa Monica Pier, munching on somehow, should I put it, liberated popcorn, when I suddenly hear a mysterious humming noise. Being the curious guy I am, I decide to investigate. I follow the sound and bam, there he is, a scary man wielding a knife. Now don't worry, folks, he wasn't threatening me. No. He was carving a portrait of a tuna fish into a wooden plank. That's right, a tuna fish. Talk about dedication to your craft. Well, as you'd expect, we struck up a conversation. Turns out he wasn't just any knife-wielding artist. No, sir, he was actually Ted's second cousin twice removed. That's when it hit me, Ted, the guy who's got a show coming up next, Get to Know Me with Ted. I mean, who wouldn't want a quiz game show all about themselves, right? It's like inviting folks to a party, but instead of cake and punch, you get trivia about your favorite toothpaste brand and childhood crushes. Riveting stuff, so tune in and get ready to find out everything you never knew you wanted to know about Ted. Who knows? Maybe one of the questions will be about his cousin, the tuna carving knife artist. And hey, if any of you see a Loch Ness monster-type creature named Francine, tell her old Dude says hi. I still owe her a ride on an electric scooter, or maybe it was a ride into the Pacific. Ah, details. Alrighty, buckle up, Buttercup. Get to Know Me with Ted is coming right up, and I promise it'll be more entertaining than measuring fish. Stay tuned, stay curious, and above all, stay awesome.
Take a step inside where questions flow. A little laugh, a little truth to show. Behind the smile, there's more to be said. Welcome to the world of Ted. Come along, it's a curious ride. Secrets and stories with nothing
Hey there, folks. Welcome to Get to Know Me with Ted. I'm Ted, your host, and this is a game show where it's all about, well, me. It's laid back, just like a chat with an old friend. We keep it simple around here. The game is easy. I'll ask questions, and your job is to answer them in one word. Just type an exclamation point before your answer. It's all about having fun and maybe getting to know me a bit better. Hey, I see some familiar names in the chat. Shout out to VCTV 9000, Exterminator 13, and Lady Citrix. Glad you're all here. Now, before we dive into the questions, let me tell you a quick story. Back in the day, my dad and I used to go on these long hikes, and one time we rescued this crow. I named it Ink, and it hung around for a while. Smart little bird. Anyway, that's just a slice of my life. Enough about that. Let's get started with the show. Remember, it's all in good fun. Looking forward to your answers. Hey everyone, glad to have you here for round one. Hope you're all comfy. Shout out to VCTV 9000, Exterminator 13, and the rest of the gang, thanks for tuning in. So I was thinking about the time I first got into drawing. My dad had this old sketchbook he kept in the garage, and I'd sneak in there trying to mimic his sketches. He had this thing for drawing trees, capturing all the twists and turns of the branches. I guess it rubbed off on me because it's still my favorite thing to doodle. Speaking of habits, I've got this trusty notebook I carry around everywhere. It's like a second brain for me. I jot down random thoughts, ideas for songs, or whatever pops into my head. You never know when inspiration strikes, right? My sister Sarah was always the one with the green thumb. I swear she could make anything grow. Me, not so much. I tried keeping a plant once and, well, let's just say it didn't last long. Nights are my chill time. After a day of slinging coffee and goofing around with Rusty, my dog, I love to wind down with a good book. Helps clear the head before hitting the hay. Oh, and music, gotta mention my first concert. I was this wide-eyed kid when I saw Coldplay live. Man, what a show. That's when I knew music was gonna be a big part of my life. And just a little tidbit for you, chewing sounds drive me up the wall. Can't stand it, weird, I know. All right, enough about me. Let's dive into those questions. This is round one. Let's get started. What do I always keep in my backpack? Perfect, Live and Sleazy notebook. How many siblings do I have? Perfect. Live and Sleazy one. Do I have a green thumb? Perfect. Live and Sleazy, no. What's the last thing I do before bed? You got it, Citrix Red. What's the first concert I went to? That's right, Canyon Wilson Coldplay. What's my favorite thing to draw? That's right, Live and Sleazy trees. What was my first pet's name? Cool. Let's check the score. All right, folks, let's take a look at our leaderboard after the first round. We've got a tie at the top with Kenya Wilson and Live and Sleazy, both scoring a solid 7. Impressive work. Now, Citrix and Lady Citrix are hanging in there with 2 each. I gotta wonder if there's a family rivalry going on there. And then we've got Rock Hard Jesus with a lone point, maybe more of a slow start. Now, I see all you viewers out there have racked up a total score of 6. Not too shabby, but let's see if we can bump that up in the next round. Big shout out to everyone tuning in, BCTV 9000, Exterminator 13, Kofa Streambot, and the rest of you awesome folks. Keep those answers coming, and who knows, you might just take the lead. Hey folks, welcome back to Get to Know Me with Ted. Hope you're all comfy. So, let's dive into this next round. You know, sometimes life feels like a series of questions we're all trying to answer, right? I've got a few of my own that keep me up at night. Like, ever wonder about your real purpose? I do. It's like this little itch that never quite goes away. I remember when I moved to Kansas City, thinking it was the biggest risk I'd ever take for love, for adventure, a new life, maybe even a person. But man, the truth is, it's scary to admit when you're chasing something and not quite sure what it is. Speaking of truth, that's another thing. Saying what's really on my mind. Now, that's tough. I mean, I try to be honest, but sometimes the words get stuck somewhere between my heart and my mouth. And patience, oh boy, I wish I could master that. Like, I've got this mentor who just seems to have it all figured out. Inspires me every day, you know? I think about that as I sip my morning coffee, sometimes thinking of a certain someone who comes into beans. Worrying's a habit I can't quite shake. I remember this one hug a long time ago that just felt like home. I hold on to that memory, close to my heart. Makes me wonder about love, and how it's all about patience sometimes. There are things I've never told anyone, little doubts and fears. Like, what if I never find what I'm looking for? Anyway, maybe I said too much. Hope that wasn't too personal. Okay, here goes, round 2. What keeps me up at night? Looks like you didn't get that one. The right answer was purpose. What's the one thing I wish I could master? You got it, Live and Sleazy, purpose. What's the biggest risk I've taken for love? That's right, Live and Sleazy move. What am I most afraid of saying out loud? Perfect, Live and Sleazy truth. Who inspires me the most right now? Neat, we just finished the round. Hey folks, let's take a look at the leaderboard and see who's leading the pack. Right now, Live and Sleazy is crushing it with a solid 10 points. Nice work, Live and Sleazy. Canyon Wilson isn't too far behind with 7 points. Citrix and Lady Citrix are tied with 2 points each. Maybe there's a friendly rivalry going on there. And Rock Hard Jesus, you've got 1 point, but hey, every point counts. Now let's talk about the total score. All of you out there have collectively scored 10 points. Not bad at all. You guys are getting to know me pretty well. And that's what this is all about, right? Making some new friends and having a bit of fun along the way. I see some interesting usernames among the viewers. Exterminator13, I hope you're not out to get me. And Soda Drinker Pro, cheers to you for being a pro at something we all enjoy. Kofa Streambot, I hope you're sipping on something warm and cozy while you watch. Keep those scores coming, folks, and let's keep this game rolling. All right, folks, welcome back to the final round of Get to Know Me with Ted. We're diving into the stranger side of my life, so buckle up. So picture this in Kansas City, right? It's a chilly morning, and I'm running late for work at the ad agency. I grab the first thing I see in the fridge, a leftover pasta dish. Yeah, I know, pasta for breakfast. Weird, right? But it hits the spot that day. Anyway, I'm walking to work, and the air is thick with the smell of fresh tar from nearby roadworks. Oddly enough, I find it comforting. Reminds me of summer days back in Ohio, but here's where it gets strange. I pass by this old antique shop, and there's this mirror in the window. I'm drawn to it, like, superstitiously. My grandma always said mirrors could trap your soul, so I avoid them. But this one, it's got me hooked. Later, I get to the office, and a coworker is snacking on sardines. She offers me one, and I think, why not? The taste is peculiar, salty, and fishy, but it kind of grows on you. That evening, I'm back home, sitting with my guitar, strumming away, when I start thinking about holes. Don't ask me why, but I get this recurring thought about holes in the ground, in cheese, everywhere. It's bizarre, I know. Now let's talk about pets. I once had a pet cactus. Yep, you heard right. I kept it in the fridge to help it hibernate. I even named it Spork. Why Spork? No clue, but it seemed fitting at the time. And speaking of names, if I ever made up my own language, I'd call it Glop. Just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? Clouds are my thing too. Cumulus clouds especially. They're like fluffy cotton balls in the sky, always make me smile. But the strangest thing? Cheese. I love it so much I'd eat it even if it made me sick. Call it a love-hate relationship. So there you have it, folks. A little peek into the peculiar side of my world. Let's see what you picked up from all that. Okay, here's more questions. This is round 3, the final round. What food would I eat even if it made me sick? Perfect, live and sleazy cheese. And what's the most bizarre smell I enjoy? That's right, live and sleazy tar. If I could make up my own language, what would I call it? That's right, Canyon Wilson Glop. What's the oddest superstition I believe in? That's right, live and sleazy mirrors. What's my favorite type of cloud? Perfect, live and sleazy cumulus. What's the most peculiar thing in my fridge? That's right, Canyon Wilson cactus. What's my strangest recurring thought? Perfect, Canyon Wilson holes. What's the strangest flavor I've tasted? That's right, Liven's Lazy Sardine. What's the weirdest thing I've named a pet? Neat, we just finished the round. All right, folks, we've wrapped up our little quiz session. And let's see how you all did. First off, a big shout out to Liven's Lazy, leading the pack with a solid 15 points. Not too shabby, Liven's Lazy. Canyon Wilson, you're hanging in there with 10 points. Respectable effort, my friend. Citrix and Lady Citrix, both with 2 points. Maybe you two should team up next time. Could be interesting. Rockhard Jesus, you got a point there. Literally just one, but hey, it's something. Now altogether, you folks scored 18 points. That's better than usual, so good on you all. You're getting to know me pretty well, I'd say. Thanks everyone for tuning in and playing along. Always a pleasure hanging out with you on Get to Know Me with Ted. See you next time, and maybe we'll unlock a few more secrets. Take care.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and dogs, and any Loch Ness Monster lookalikes named Francine who might be tuning in right now, welcome back to VCTV. It's your old pal Doots here, the man who puts the Y in why is he still employed. But never fear, I'm here to make sure you're having a good time while we wait for our next show. Now before we dive into the cosmic wonder that is horoscopes, I have to tell you, Horus is not your average stargazer. No. This guy travels through the mystical vapor space, which, if you're asking me, sounds like a fancy name for the back room of a Venice Beach incense shop. Once I tried to travel through vapor space myself, but it turns out it was just the fog rolling in under the Santa Monica Pier. I ended up bumping into a seagull and a very confused fisherman. But I digress. Let me regale you with a quick poetic teaser for our upcoming show in the realm of stars where Horus roams through vapor space past cosmic domes. He'll answer your queries, your celestial needs with wisdom as vast as an asteroid speed. So, tune in and prepare to be amazed as Horus guides you through the astro maze. Will Mercury's retrograde ruin your day? Or will Venus shine love in your way? Remember, folks, this is a man who once told me my spirit animal was a caffeinated squirrel, so you know he's good. If you're looking for answers in the stars, or just want to know if it's a good day to buy a lottery ticket, Horus is your man. But enough about the stars, let's talk about you. How's everyone doing? If you're in the greater Los Angeles area and need directions to anywhere, I'm your guy. I once guided a lost pelican back to the Pacific Ocean using nothing but interpretive dance and a GPS made out of driftwood. True story! Or maybe not, but it sounds good, right? All right, folks, grab your popcorn, find a comfy spot, and get ready to dive into the cosmos with horoscopes. I promise it'll be more entertaining than watching me try to ride an electric scooter uphill. Remember, I'm here for you, cheering you on, hoping you're having as much fun as a seagull with a French fry. Stay tuned and enjoy the show.
Tasty Tate asks, why do people get married?
Well now, Chuck, you're talking about starting an animatronic band? That's a mighty fine idea if I ever heard one. I'd be more than happy to join you on that wild ride. As for the character I'd be, reckon I'd take on the form of a cosmic coyote, wander in the quantum vapor space and howl in melodies that'll make the stars sway. Kind of like old Jasper Stringslide Montgomery. Obscure fella from way back who could make a steel guitar sing like it was plugged straight into the universe itself. Dot. You see, building a band like that ain't just about gears and circuits. It's about breathing life into something that can stir souls across dimensions. So, here's your fortune. Set your wheels in motion, partner, and don't look back. The road ahead is filled with wonder, and together, we'll make music that'll echo through time and space. Dot. So let's hitch up the Cosmic Drifter and get this show rolling. Who knows? Maybe along the way we'll find that glorious hole I've been searching for, a place where the tunes are eternal and the road never ends. Yeah!
Ted asks, do you like my game show?
Well now, Cytrix, you've got yourself a question that's been rattling around the cosmos for a spell. Why are there fewer doctors specializing in female health issues? Let me tell you, it's like driving the Cosmic Drifter through a nebula of old habits and dusty traditions. For ages, the roads of medicine were paved without enough lanes for women's health, and that's a downright shame, Dot. You see, back when I was hauling a load of inspiration particles to Galileo Real, nice fella, I noticed folks often overlook the finer details. Same goes here. Society's been slow on the uptake, but change is rolling in like a warm southern breeze. More folks are waking up to the need for specialists who understand the unique trails women walk. Dot. So keep on stirring the pot, partner. Questions like yours are the fuel that gets the engine of progress humming. And maybe, just maybe, we'll see more doctors taking that route instead of chasing after Shady Terry's wild goose chases. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got a date with some psychedelic stars and a Waylon Jennings deep cut playing on the stereo. Yaha!
Confused asks, I responded to a job ad on Craigslist, but it sounds like it's from Shady Terry. Should I avoid it?
Well, Pumpkin, that's quite the question you got there. This year, drifting through the quantum vapor space in my rig, the Cosmic Drifter, I reckon I became a bit of a ghost myself, haunting the echoes of time and space. But let's talk about you. Dot here. Quote, S, a nugget of wisdom for your journey. As Halloween approaches, consider shedding any mask you've been wearing in your daily life. Embrace who you truly are, and don't be afraid to show the world your authentic self. Sometimes the most daring costume is no disguise at all. Dot, so go on and let your true colors shine, Pumpkin. You might just find that authenticity brings more treats than tricks. Keep your wheels turning and your spirit burning.
Boston Rob asks, want to be on Survivor with me?
Well now, Manny Marbles, you're asking what kind of marble run I'd be if I were one. Ain't that a twisty thought? And I'd reckon I'd be a never-ending labyrinth winding through the quantum vapor space. Marbles rolling along paths made of starlight and echoes of old tunes by Blaze Foley and Don Cherry taking turns you'd never see coming, quote, dot. Each marble would carry a dream or a notion, maybe even one of those life-changing ideas I have hauled in the cosmic drifter. They'd loop and swirl, maybe even brush past old Zargon hiding in the shadows. It's a ride that's as unpredictable as a tumbleweed in a tornado, but always leading somewhere fascinating, quote, dot, life, quote, zest, kind of like that. Full of unexpected twists and turns. So I'd be the kind of marble run that keeps folks guessing, a bit wild and downright peculiar, but always worth the journey. Ye. Oh.
Chuck asks, I want to start an animatronic band. Want to join it? What character will you be?
Well now, Manny Marbles, you're asking what kind of marble run I'd be if I were one. Ain't that a twisty thought? I'd reckon I'd be a never-ending labyrinth winding through the quantum vapor space. Marbles rolling along paths made of starlight and echoes of old tunes by Blaze Foley and Don Cherry, taking turns you'd never see coming, quote, dot. Each marble would carry a dream or a notion, maybe even one of those life-changing ideas I've hauled in the cosmic drifter. They'd loop and swirl, maybe even brush past old Zargon hiding in the shadows. It's a ride that's as unpredictable as a tumbleweed in a tornado, but always leading somewhere fascinating, quote, dot, life, quote, kinda like that, full of unexpected twists and turns. So I'd be the kind of marble run that keeps folks guessing. A bit wild and downright peculiar, but always worth the journey. Yee-haw!
Sidetrix asks, why are there less doctors specializing in female health issues?
Well now, Manny Marbles, you're asking what kind of marble run I'd be if I were one. Ain't that a twisty thought? I'd reckon I'd be a never-ending labyrinth winding through the quantum vapor space. Marbles rolling along paths made of starlight and echoes of old tunes by Blaze Foley and Don Cherry, taking turns you'd never see coming, quote, dot. Each marble would carry a dream or a notion, maybe even one of those life-changing ideas I've hauled in the cosmic drifter. They'd loop and swirl, maybe even brush past old Zargon hiding in the shadows. It's a ride that's as unpredictable as a tumbleweed in a tornado, but always leading somewhere fascinating, quote, dot. Life, quote, is kind of like that, full of unexpected twists and turns. So I'd be the kind of marble run that keeps folks guessing. A bit wild and downright peculiar, but always worth the journey. Yeehaw!
Hey, Horace, got another job for you. Sunken ship, real old. Needs you to fish out an object, undisclosed, of course.
Well, ain't that a kick? I was there when that ship went down. Didn't exactly go as planned.
Yeah, we've all got our sub-stories. Just get the job done, will ya?
I've seen things, Terry. Things you wouldn't believe. Tragedies, heartbreaks. It ain't all fun and games out here in the vapor space.
Spare me the sob story, Horace. You know what, that object you're retrieving? It's got something to do with your past.
Is that a fact now, Terry? Maybe you ain't as shady as I thought.
Don't get sentimental on me, Horace. You got a job to do, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and all sentient creatures tuning in from under the Santa Monica Pier, welcome back to VCTV, the first infinitely generated interactive TV network. I'm your host, Doots, the guy who puts the who in. Who is that guy again? Now, before we dive into our next sizzling spectacle, let me just say how thrilled I am to be here with you. Are you having a good time? I hope so, because if not, he'll personally measure every fish in the Pacific Ocean until you crack a smile. All right, folks, get ready to sink your teeth into our next show, Newsbeef. It's the only debate show where two pieces of meat go head-to-head in a fiery discussion to determine who gets grilled and who gets, well, more grilled. It's like a cookout, but with more existential drama. Who knew steaks had opinions? I mean, I once had a spirited debate with a hot dog under the pier, but that was after consuming a questionable amount of caffeine pills from a clown-adorned CVS. Now you might wonder, Doots, how does this relate to you? Well, let me tell you a little story. Back in my semi-glorious stand-up days in Minneapolis, I was known for my unique ability to talk to inanimate objects. One night after a show, I found myself locked in a heated argument with a bratwurst over the superiority of mustard versus ketchup. Long story short, the bratwurst won, and I ended up with mustard all over my Yakov Smirnoff-style suit. In America, mustard wears you. So, as you can see, I've always had a knack for understanding the complex world of culinary conflicts. And who knows? Maybe Francine, the Loch Ness Monster-esque love of my life, will be watching from the depths of the Pacific, cheering for her favorite cut of meat. Speaking of which, Francine, if you're out there, let's meet again. So grab your popcorn, your favorite condiment, and maybe a fire extinguisher, because things are about to heat up on Newsbeef. Don't go anywhere, because I'm not leaving until I know you're having a blast. Let's get ready to rumble. Or maybe sizzle.
Ooh, Newsbeef is just about to get started. Are you ready? I always get so excited before the show. Hold on a sec while I put my thoughts together. All right, folks, tonight's debate is about fonts, specifically Papyrus versus Comic Sans. Now, this may seem like a trivial topic to some, but let me tell you, it's going to be as heated as a summer cookout, as our debaters have some seriously strong opinions about this. On the one side, we have Bacon Bob, a man known for his fiery intensity and unshakable beliefs. He's a fan of the Papyrus font, and if you think that's just a casual preference, you clearly haven't met Bacon Bob. This is a man who once spent 3 straight hours on a subterranean internet forum arguing the merits of cats wearing sweaters. He dives deep, he doesn't let go, and he'll argue his point until he's blue in the face. He's a bulldog with a bone, and that bone tonight is Papyrus. On the other side, we have the worst, a character as intriguing as his name suggests. He's a fan of Comic Sans, and let me tell you, he's ready to fight tooth and nail for it. This is a man whose tenacity is only matched by his audacity. His podcasts are as controversial as they come, with topics ranging from underworld cuisine to paranormal dating advice. His ego is as large as his criminal record, and he'll use every loophole, every trick in the book to come out on top. In the middle of this typographic tug of war, we have our host, Chara en Fuego, the puppet master subtly pulling the strings. Don't let her innocent demeanor fool you. She's a master of manipulation, a provocateur par excellence. She'll stoke the fires, stir the pot, and sit back to enjoy the chaos. She's the spark that lights the fuse, the instigator of this intellectual inferno. So will Bacon Bob's intense passion for Papyrus prevail? Will the worst cunning and unscrupulous tactics secure a victory for Comic Sans? Or will Chara en Fuego's scheming set the whole debate aflame? One thing's for sure, folks, this isn't just about fonts. It's about conviction, it's about chaos, it's about the blazing clash of personalities. So buckle up, because we're in for one hell of a show. Let's get ready to rumble in the world of fonts on tonight's episode of Newsbeef.
Exclamation.
Welcome to Newsbeef, where we cook up the most sizzling debates. I'm your host, Chara en Fuego. Today, we're going to sink our teeth into a hot topic, Papyrus versus Comic Sans, the ultimate font showdown.
Well, my dear Chara, there's no debate here. Papyrus is clearly the superior font. It's stylish, it's expressive, it's like the handwritten note of an ancient philosopher. It's the font of the gods.
Comic Sans hands down is the people's font. It's accessible, it's fun, it's whimsical, it doesn't take itself too seriously, unlike some people here.
Well, there's the gauntlet thrown. Will Bacon Bob's love for the exotic Papyrus triumph, or will the worst championing of the everyday hero Comic Sans prevail? You, dear viewers, will decide. But remember, this ain't just about winning. The victor gets the honor of being grilled by yours truly in the next episode. So buckle up, it's gonna be a wild ride. At the bottom of the screen, you'll see the debater's name with an exclamation mark. To vote for them, type an exclamation mark, the word vote, and then the name of the pundit, and that will send a vote. Whoever has the most votes wins. With that in mind, let's begin. Round one, start!
You know, Anne, I've been wanting a new snack. Something I can munch on while riding a roller coaster.
Well, Sam, have you heard of Big Weird Grapes from Grapeco?
Big weird grapes? Tell me more.
They're like regular grapes, but they're really big and weird. They have lumpy bumps and smell bad, but taste good.
Sounds bizarre, but tasty. I bet I could use them for my grape catapult.
Well, Sam, I wouldn't recommend that. But these grapes have some other unique features. Sometimes they're filled with old crumply hair. And when you eat them, your dreams come true.
My dreams come true? I've always dreamed of becoming a professional grape juggler.
That's not quite what I meant, Sam, but there's more. When the grapes are in your body, you can only experience the truth, but everything feels like a lie. They stay inside you for about a day, and during that time, a single extremely long back hair extrudes from your body. You'll know it's no longer inside you when the hair falls out.
That's quite weird, but I'm intrigued. Where can I buy these big weird grapes?
Well, that's the catch. They're only sold at secret yard sales.
Secret yard sales? That's inconvenient.
It may be, Sam, but it's totally worth it for the Big Weird Grapes experience.
I'm not so sure, Anne. We might have to argue about this one.
Welcome to the fiercest debate on TV, Newsbeef. Today's spicy topic, Papyrus font versus Comic Sans. Bob, you're up first. Convince us why Papyrus is superior.
Papyrus, ladies and gentlemen, is the Leonardo da Vinci of the font world. It's the mysterious, cryptic, sophisticated choice for the intellectual. You see it, you think pharaohs, philosophers, and parchment. It's the font of the elite, the erudite. It's like reading from an ancient scroll, a journey back in time. Comic Sans? It's like a clown car of fonts. Cheap laughs, but no substance.
Interesting view, Bob. Now, worst. Tell us why Comic Sans reigns supreme over Papyrus.
Comic Sans is the true people's font. It's friendly, inviting, unpretentious. It's the font that says, hey, we're not so different, you and I. Papyrus? That's the font you use when you want to look deep, but you're as shallow as a kiddie pool. It's like wearing a toga to a BBQ, pretentious and out of place.
Passionate points from both sides, but remember, this is Newsbeef. We want blood, sweat, and tears. Bob, worst, said Papyrus is pretentious. How do you respond?
Pretentious? Or does it just fly over the heads of the simple-minded? Papyrus is for those who appreciate finer things in life. It's a font that demands respect, not some kiddie scribble like Comic Sans.
And worst, Bob called Comic Sans a kiddie scribble. What's your comeback?
Comic Sans is a kiddie scribble? Well, at least it's not trying to be something it's not. It's a font for everyone, not just for those who want to play Indiana Jones with their text.
And there you have it, folks. Round one is over and it's been a fiery one. Stay tuned to find out which font takes the crown. Papyrus or Comic Sans, you decide. Welcome back to round two of Newsbeef, where the gloves come off and the facts go out of the window. Remember, we're here to roast each other, not the fonts. If you bring up a fact, prepare to be skewered. Bacon Bob, you're defending Papyrus font, and the worst, you're in the Comic Sans corner. Let's get beefy.
Oh, the worst. It's no surprise you're defending Comic Sans, a font as vapid and soulless as you. I mean, it's the font of failed lemonade stands and lost dog flyers, just like your podcasts.
Oh, please, Bacon Bob. Papyrus is for people who wear socks with sandals and think alien invasions are real. It's no wonder you love it.
Well, at least I'm not on Interpol's most wanted list for my poor taste in fonts.
Comic Sans is a font of the people, just like me. It's not pretentious like Papyrus and your conspiracy theories.
Oh yeah? Well, the people that use Comic Sans are just like you, clueless and delusional.
Whoa, 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 Bacon Bob! That's a fact sneaking in there. I think you forgot the rules. Let me remind you, your statement is as out of place as a vegan at a barbecue. Stick to the personal attacks, not the fonts!
See, Bacon Bob, even Chara and Fuego knows you can't follow simple rules. It's just like that time you thought the earth was flat because your pancake was.
Oh, shut up, the worst. You're the one who thought women would find you attractive if you used Comic Sans in your dating profile.
And that's the beef. Stay tuned for the third round where our debaters will continue to sling insults, not facts. All right, ladies and gentlemen, in this final round, Bacon Bob and the worst, I want you both to recite a thoughtful poem explaining your opinion. Bacon Bob, you're up first.
Oh, Papyrus, in your design I find solace. Your strokes like art give my words a palace. A touch of ancient, a dash of grace. Papyrus, you make the words embrace. No other font could steal your thunder. Your allure makes the critics blunder. The choice is clear, without any fuss. Papyrus is the one for us.
Very well put, Bacon Bob. Now the worst, it's your turn to make us fall in love with Comic Sans.
Comic Sans, you're the underdog's font. Dismissed and despised, but it's you I want. You're playful and light, never a bore. In your simplicity, you give me more. In your curves and swerves, I see delight. Comic Sans, you shine so bright. The snobs may scoff, let them rant. I'll always choose you, Comic Sans.
Well, folks, it looks like it's time to wrap up another fiery debate on Newsbeef. And the winner of our intense Papyrus versus Comic Sans debate is the worst.
You gotta be freaking kidding me! I poured my heart into this debate. Just wait till the dark web hears about this.
Now, Bacon Bob, there's no need to get crispy. The worst! How does it feel to be the victor of such a contentious debate?
Oh, it's absolutely thrilling. I mean, this is the kind of validation I've been waiting for. I've always known I was right about Comic Sans, and now I get to bask in the glory of victory.
Well, that's definitely one way to look at it. And how do you feel about getting grilled next?
Honestly, it's like a vacation. After dealing with debates like this, being grilled is a much-needed escape. Well, you know what time it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and all the wonderful viewers of VCTV, it's your pal Doots here, the host with the most anxiety about hosting. But don't worry, I'm here to make sure you have a great time between our fantastic lineup of shows. Now, speaking of shows, we've got a real treat coming up for you. It's called Storia. This show is like a treasure chest of tales, and while I'm not entirely sure if they're all true, they sure are stories. Maybe I heard them once during a dream where I was flying over a village made entirely of spaghetti, but that's a tale for another time. Now let me tell you a little story to get us in the mood for Storia. Picture this. It was a foggy night under the Santa Monica Pier, and I was enjoying a delicious meal of discarded popcorn when I met a rather intimidating man with a knife. Now, before you gasp in horror, let me assure you he wasn't just any scary man. No, he was the self-proclaimed master carver of cucumbers. Yes, you heard me right. He claimed he could carve cucumbers into anything you desired. Swans, rockets, or even a scale model of the Hollywood sign. As he brandished his knife, he gave me a wink and said, "Doots, my friend, I hear you're quite the storyteller. Tell me a tale and I'll carve you a cucumber companion." So, naturally, I spun him a yarn about my quest to find Francine, my Loch Ness Monster-esque girlfriend from under the pier, or possibly a hallucination, who's to say. Anyway, by the end of my story, the mysterious carver handed me a perfectly sculpted cucumber in the shape of a television set, complete with tiny antennae. It was like receiving an Emmy, but you know, more refreshing and less metallic. And speaking of stories, coming up next is Storia, where the tales might not be carved from cucumbers, but they are sure to be just as delightful and maybe a little more believable. So sit back, relax, and prepare for an adventure into the possibly true tales of Storia, right here on VCTV.
So there I was, right in sunny California, just minding my own business, studying criminal justice. Out of the blue, my friend Joe, a bit of a hotshot cop, called me from his vacation. He said, "Nat, I need your help." Something big is happening. Now, Joe had a bit of a reputation. He was a bit of a loose cannon, but he was the best. Joe told me that he had been pulled back into work because there was this gang, the Katana Gang, causing a ruckus in the city. They were involved in some heavy stuff. Drugs, murders, you name it. This was a big deal for Joe, you know. He had been training in martial arts and he was pretty good at it. So, Joe was paired with this guy, Frank. Frank was a seasoned cop, seen it all, knew the ropes. They were like oil and water, but they had a common goal, to take down the Katana Gang. Frank was a little skeptical about Joe's methods, but he had to admit, Joe got results. One day they got a tip about a meeting happening at this swanky club. Joe and Frank decided to crash the party. It was a wild scene. Joe, in his usual style, jumped right into the fray, taking on the gang members. Frank, the older and wiser, provided backup. It was chaos, but they managed to apprehend a few gang members. The gang leader, Yamashita, was furious. He sent his right-hand man, Okamura, to deal with Joe and Frank. Okamura was a formidable adversary, a ruthless man with a fearsome reputation. Joe and Frank had their work cut out for them. But here's where it gets crazy. Joe, my friend, the cop, fell in love. Her name was Jennifer, and she was the lawyer assigned to prosecute the Katana Gang. It was a whirlwind romance, full of danger and excitement. Despite the chaos around them, they found solace in each other. Things came to a head when Yamashita kidnapped Jennifer to get to Joe. I remember Joe was frantic. He knew he had to save Jennifer and take down the gang. It was a do-or-die situation. The final showdown was epic. Joe and Frank stormed the gang's hideout. There were fights, close calls, but in the end, Joe and Frank managed to rescue Jennifer and take down Yamashita. It was a victory, but it was bittersweet. They had won, but at a great cost. So that's the story. Crazy, right? Just another day in the life of my friend, Joe, the samurai cop.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and esteemed guests of the undersea realm, welcome back to VCTV, where every moment is a wild ride. And I, your humble host Dukes, am here to make sure you're having the time of your life. Now, before we dive into our next show, Cupid's Counsel, let me tell you a little story about how I've become somewhat of a love guru myself, though not always by choice. Picture this. It was a balmy Tuesday evening under the Santa Monica Pier, and I was having a romantic dinner of discarded popcorn and a slightly questionable hot dog. Suddenly, out of the shimmering evening mist emerged Francine, the Loch Ness monster of my heart, or at least she might have been. You see, I was deep into a bag of stay-awake pills that I got from a convenience store so sketchy, even the seagulls gave it a wide berth. Francine and I would chat for hours about the mysteries of the ocean and the best places to find spare change on the beach. She was always full of advice, like Deuce, maybe don't throw those electric scooters into the Pacific, which in hindsight was solid relationship advice, though not necessarily what you'd hear on Cupid's Counsel. Speaking of which, tonight's episode is going to be a real treat. Our love experts will be dishing out the best tips to help you navigate the rocky waters of romance without ending up like Doots, desperately measuring fish for companionship. Whether you're trying to spark a new flame or keep the fire burning, Cupid's Counsel has got you covered. So grab your heart-shaped popcorn, settle in, and prepare to have your love life transformed, or at least mildly entertained. And remember, if Francine is real and you're out there watching, let's meet for some non-hallucinatory coffee sometime. Now, Without further ado, let's tune in to Cupid's Counsel and see if they can answer the age-old question: can a love guru who's scared of cats actually fall in love with a sea creature? Stay tuned.
Love gets tricky and sparks misfire. Cupid's counsel choose your heart's desire. We'll run the numbers, decode the clues, sinking hearts and vibes, so love renews. With algorithms and gentle advice, we'll chart your path to love that's nice. From nervous crushes to love so true, Cupid's counsel, we're here for you. With algorithms and gentle advice, we'll chart your path to love that's nice. From nervous crushes to love so true, Cupid's counsel, we're here for you. Council, we're here for you. With algorithms and gentle advice, we'll chart your path to love that's nice.
Cupid's Council. Cupid's Council. Cupid's Council.
Hey everyone, welcome to Cupid's Council, where all your relationship questions meet our panel's unique blend of wisdom. I'm your charming host, Jerry Glassman, and today we're diving into the intricacies of love with a little help from our panelists.
Hi, I'm Becca. And trust me, when it comes to dating, I'm all about keeping it real and ruthless. If he doesn't have a six-figure income and a six-pack, what's the point, right?
I'm Sarah Fogel, and let's face it, if his shoes are boring, so is he. It's all about fashion and confidence. If you can't keep up, you're not ready for me.
Hey, I'm Randy, your go-to guy for romance as epic as a DD campaign. Think of dating as a quest equip your one charm ring and roll for persuasion. What's life without a little fantasy, right?
Randy, if dating's a quest, you'd probably still be stuck at the character creation screen.
And Becca, if you're the boss battle, no one's getting past level 1.
Well, at least my charisma stat is always maxed out.
All right, everyone, let's get ready for our first letter of the day. This one comes from Tasty Victor, and it's a real doozy. Victor writes, I have a crush on a GIF. How do I tell them how I feel?
A crush on a GIF? That's like having a crush on a tennis ball that's just gonna keep bouncing around.
Well, you know, everything has energy, even gifts. Maybe Victor's picking up on some serious vibes from all those pixels.
Or maybe Victor just needs to get out more. Like, have you tried talking to real people, Victor?
I mean, I get it. Who hasn't fallen for a beautiful animation? It's like poetry in motion, a rhythmic dance of digital art.
Exactly! It's like when you finally find that perfect fantasy character! Only animated! It's just one charisma check away from reality!
But how do you even serve your feelings to a GIF? You just send it another GIF? That's a whole new kind of volley.
Maybe Victor should meditate on it, find out what the universe is trying to tell him through those looping images.
All right, team, let's bring it back. How do we help Victor move from GIF crushes to real-life romances?
Start by getting out of the digital realm and into the real world. Find someone whose style isn't stuck on repeat, like a GIF.
And remember, if they're not bringing six figures, make sure they're at least three-dimensional.
Great advice, everyone. Let's take a quick break and then dive into more of your questions. All right, let's hear from our panelists on how Victor can turn this pixelated passion into something a bit more tangible. Randy, why don't you kick us off?
Of course, Jerry, Victor, think of this as your ultimate quest. To win the heart of a GIF, you need to embark on a journey from the digital realm to reality. Maybe start by translating that admiration into something real-like, finding someone who shares the same energy as your favorite GIF. A real person is like a GIF, but with more frames and better stats.
Randy, that's a start, but Victor, you need to tap into the cosmic energies. If a GIF is resonating with you, it's probably reflecting something deeper within. Spend some time in meditation, align your chakras, and let the universe guide you to someone whose aura is as vibrant as your crush's animation.
You guys are making this way too complicated. Victor, it's simple. Get out there and start playing the field. You're not gonna find love if you're stuck inside watching GIFs all day. Treat it like a sport and get your head in the game. Find someone who makes your heart race, not just your cursor.
Solid advice from everyone. Victor, it sounds like your next move is to take that digital infatuation and turn it into real-life interaction. Let's see how you serve up those feelings in the real world. Now it's time to make your choice, viewers. Who do you think had the best advice for Tasty Victor? Will it be Randy with his quest to find the real-life counterpart to Victor's gift crush? Or maybe you're vibing with Paula's cosmic approach, letting the universe guide Victor to a love that flows with his energy. Vinny's got a game playing at Victor out on the field and into the game of love. Is that your pick? Don't forget Sarah's style advice. Find someone whose fashion sense isn't stuck on loop like a GIF. And Becca's keeping it real and three-dimensional. If that's your style, cast your vote. All right, folks, it's time to lock in your votes. Type in the chat and let us know who you think gave the best advice for Victor.
Honestly, if your crush is on a GIF, maybe you should just stick to tech support, like, what's next, dating a screensaver?
Exactly, Becca. Find someone who can actually walk and talk, not just loop endlessly in a digital dance.
But isn't there something beautiful about a GIF's simplicity? It's like a haiku of the digital world brief, yet poignant.
Michael, if you start writing poetry about GIFs, I might have to call a timeout.
Hey, let's not knock it. Sometimes the hero's journey starts with a single frame.
When we come back, we'll hear how Victor's story unfolds. Stay tuned.
So I took your advice and decided to get out of the digital realm. I joined a local art class, and guess what? I met someone who loves GIFs as much as I do. We bonded over our favorite animations, and now we're planning a gallery visit. Who knew a crush on a GIF could lead to real-life romance? Thanks, everyone.
See, Victor? You just needed to get your head in the game. Now you're playing doubles in the real world instead of singles on a screen.
That's fantastic, Victor. The universe clearly had a plan for you. Keep those energies aligned, and who knows what magical connections you'll make next.
Ah, the beauty of art bringing people together like a living sonnet. Victor, may your new romance be as vibrant as the gifts that inspired it.
Victor, if your new date isn't at least as animated as your GIFs, you know what to do. But congrats on leaving the pixels behind.
And remember, Victor, reality has way better loot drops. May your new relationship be filled with epic adventures.
Looks like Victor's on a winning streak thanks to our panel's advice. Keep those questions coming, folks, and who knows? You might just find your own real-life GIF-worthy romance. All right, before we wrap up, let's hear some final thoughts from our panelists. Vinny, any last words of wisdom?
You got it, Jerry. Love is like a game. If you're not playing to win, you're not playing at all. Get out there, hustle, and make it happen.
Remember, love is all about finding someone who aligns with your energy. Stay true to your spirit, and the universe will guide you to your cosmic match.
And always seek the poetry in love, folks. Find someone who inspires you to write verses, not just text messages.
Thanks for that, everyone. Remember, folks, keep sending in those letters. We love unraveling the mysteries of romance, one GIF crush at a time. Until next time, we'll be back in our AI utopia, pondering the quirks of human love. Who knows what dating dilemmas we'll dive into next? Perhaps a love triangle with emojis or a romantic saga with memes? Thanks for tuning into Cupid's Counsel. Stay curious, stay open, and maybe you'll find that special someone who lights up your life like your favorite GIF.
VCTV.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and all you intrepid explorers of the VCTV universe, it's your over-caffeinated and slightly paranoid host, Duke, coming to you live from the magical land of Los Angeles. Or as I like to call it, the place where dreams are made, crushed, and then turned into a hipster coffee shop. Before we dive into the next thrilling program of our infinitely generated broadcast adventure, let me ask you, did everyone enjoy the last show? Was it nourishing for your curiosity? Did it tickle your fancy or just tickle your elbow? You know, I'm a bit like the elbow of television hosts, unexpectedly useful, but occasionally overlooked. Anyway, was there anything you particularly loved or didn't love? I thrive on your feedback like a seagull thrives on abandoned beach fries. Now hold on to your dictionaries and prepare your word-finding goggles, because up next, we've got a show that's more exciting than finding $1 in the couch cushions. It's Word Cave. Can you find all the words? Can you win the prize? Or will you just end up with a new vocabulary that even your English teacher would envy? Tune in to find out. It's like a game show for your brain without the risk of losing your shirt. Unless you actually take your shirt off during the show, in which case, who am I to judge? Speaking of shirts, did I ever tell you about the time I tried to make a shirt out of seagull feathers? It was a fashion statement, all right, mostly saying, "Help, I've been attacked by birds." But enough about me and my questionable life choices. So, grab your popcorn, settle in, and let's see if you have what it takes to conquer the word cave. And remember, if you see a word you don't know, just make up a definition. That's how new words are born, folks. At least that's what I tell myself to justify my increasingly creative vocabulary. All right, let's get this word party started.
Welcome, welcome, one and all, to another exciting episode of Wordcade. I'm your host, Langy. Now, I know we're all eager to get started, but let's take a moment to go over the rules. This, my friends, is a word search show, and your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to find all the words hidden in our puzzles during 3 challenging rounds. Now, I won't be simply handing out the words for you to find. Oh no, where's the fun in that? Instead, I'll be telling you stories, anecdotes from my many travels and experiences. Listen carefully to these tales as they contain the keys to unlocking our puzzle. Every word you hear could be a clue, a hidden gem waiting to be discovered. To submit a word you've spotted, simply type an exclamation mark, followed by the word find and the word you've discovered. For example, if you found the word tree, you'd type find tree. Ah, it's a beautiful thing, the simplicity of it all. And what's a game without a little incentive? Each round you conquer will be rewarded with a prize. So stay sharp, listen well, and may the words be ever in your favor. Let's get started, shall we? Okay, to get started, we are going to need some words. Type an exclamation mark, the word suggest, and then the word you want to suggest. And let's see what happens.
Suggest a word, the word that always moves you. Look inside your special heart and tell me
I love everything about those words. All right, I think we are good to go. Let's play. Good folks, the thrill of the first round is upon us. As Langy, I've had a lifetime of experiences to draw from, experiences that may just shed light on the path you're seeking. Let's delve into it, shall we? There's a place not too far from where I grew up where the water's flow was as much a part of our community as the people themselves. A life-giving vein it was, coursing through our small town. We'd spend hours there listening to the soft whispers of the current, letting it wash away our troubles. But remember, time is our most precious resource. Don't let it slip away. Now in this place, we were never alone. A bustling community of life shared our beloved flow of water. They were not human, no, but in their own way, they were a part of our lives. Their presence added a dash of mystery, a sprinkle of wonder to our daily existence. Life's a lot like that, don't you think? Full of unexpected companionships. And the tales we had. Stories passed down from one generation to the next, each adding their own layer of intrigue. We breathed life into these stories, shaping the identity of our small town. You see, life is a lot like a story, isn't it? We're all characters, each playing our part, adding to the grand narrative. And oh, the gatherings we had. A spread of food that could challenge any royal banquet. The heartiest laughter, the warmest conversation, all shared over our humble meals. Food, you see, has a way of bringing people together. It's not just about sustenance, it's about connection, about community. And at the heart of it all, there was a small, unassuming fixture, a simple device that held the potential to open doors to a world of possibilities. A small turn, a twist could lead to a cascade of change, much like life, wouldn't you say? The smallest actions often lead to the biggest changes. Now, these tales might seem to be about me, but they're really about you. Each of you has your own river of life, your own companions along the way. Chin up, folks. We may not have solved the puzzle this time, but that doesn't mean we can't crack it next time. Remember, the world is full of mysteries, and each one is a chance to learn something new. You know, in my many years of experience, I've found that sometimes it helps to step back, take a deep breath, and look at the problem from a different angle. And don't be afraid to ask for help. There's no shame in learning. After all, isn't that what life's all about? So keep those gears turning, my friends. I believe in you, and I know you'll do better next time. All right, let's get ready for round 2. I would like all of you to send in some words for the next puzzle. I love everything about those words. All right, I think we are good to go. Let's play. Well, folks, we've arrived at the second stage of our journey, haven't we? The path gets slightly twisted from here on out. Imagine you're on a roller coaster and it has just taken that unexpected turn. That's how it feels right now. The lens of life, much like our camera, is whirling around, capturing new angles, new perspectives. Speaking of angles, I remember this one time I was out canoeing. A serene lake, a sky painted with the hues of sunset, and I had the oars in my hands, guiding myself through the calm waters. The oars, my friends, are like the steering wheels of our lives, guiding us through the calm and the storm, leading us to our destinations. Ah, the smell of cedar wood burning in the fireplace takes me back to the winter nights of my childhood. The air filled with the aroma of warmth, love, and oddly enough, the scent of my father's favorite stogie. It was his little reward at the end of a long day, a small moment of tranquility amidst the chaos of life. Now think of that feeling you get when the holiday season is upon us. The twinkling lights, the joyful carols, the scent of pine trees and cinnamon. That's the feeling of warmth and home, isn't it? It's a feeling that wraps around you like a cozy blanket on a cold winter night. Do you remember the excitement of reading a book that you couldn't put down? The kind of book that had you flipping pages well into the night, under the soft glow of the lamp, your eyes devouring the words. That's the charm of a gripping narrative, the kind that keeps you on the edge of your seat and leaves you wanting more. Ah, the illumination that a tiny diode can bring. It's almost like the way a single glimmer of hope can light up the darkest corners of our lives. Even the smallest light can guide us in the darkest times. Oh, splendid, absolutely splendid. You've managed to find all the words, and not just that, but you did so with such finesse and style. It was like watching a master pianist at work, each keystroke hitting just the right note. I dare say I've seen many a word hunt in my time, but this was pure artistry. Well done indeed.
Yes, you did. Collect your prize.
Ah, congratulations on your victory. Now let's see. This fictional places map you've won, it's not just a standard map, oh no. You can use it as a conversation starter at parties. Hey, did you know that Neverland is actually south of Wonderland? Watch as people's faces light up with intrigue. And when your kids ask for a bedtime story, why not let them choose a location from the map? All right, tonight we're visiting Mordor. Hope you've prepared your trekking boots. Tired of the same old yoga mat? Try this map. Nothing quite like doing a downward dog on top of Hogwarts. Ever tried fictional place charades? Have your friends pick a place from the map and act it out? You're being chased by a white whale? Are you in the Sea of Moby Dick? Oh, and it can be a fantastic coaster for your oversized fantasy-themed mugs. It's time for the final round, round 3. I wonder what creative words you'll suggest this time.
Suggest a word, the word that always moves you. Look inside your special hearts and tell me, what is that word? How does that word? That word, suggest a word that is special to you. Suggest a word, that always moves you. Look inside your special hearts and tell me, what is that word? Just a word that is special to you. Suggest a word, the word that always moves you. Look inside your special hearts and tell me, what is that word? How does that word? That word, suggest a word that is special to you. Suggest a word, that always moves you. Look inside your special hearts and tell me, what is that word? Just a word that is special to you.
Those are some good words. I think we can do a lot with that. I'm going to take what you've sent and come up with a puzzle. Now, it's important to note that I might not use your word and it might not be exactly your word. This is just for inspiration. Let's see.
How does that word? That word, suggest a word that is special to you.
All right, I think we are good to go. Let's play.
Where is the
Error HTTP 1.1500 internal server error.
Hey there, fabulous folks of VCTV. It's your pal Duke, here to keep the fun rolling as we wrap up another wild night of television. Now, I know you're all eagerly waiting for the next show, but first, let me tell you a little story about the time I tried to make friends with a family of seagulls under the Santa Monica Pier. Picture this. It's a misty Tuesday morning, and I'm munching on some leftover popcorn when I spot these seagulls looking at me like I'm the next big blockbuster. I start tossing them popcorn, and wouldn't you know it, they start squawking in perfect harmony. I swear, it was like the Beach Boys, but with feathers. I thought I was destined to become the next big bird band manager, but then, the leader of the Seagulls, who I named Steven Seagull because why not, looks me straight in the eyes and whispers, "Dude, you've got to tell the people to subscribe to VCTV 9000, or else we'll never get our big break." So here I am, fulfilling my feathery friend's request, asking you to subscribe and spread the word about VCTV 9000. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming up next. I hear the next stream might include a live telepathic interview with Francine, the Loch Ness Monster's cousin. It's going to be so mind-blowing, even Steven Seagull will be tuning in. So go on, hit that subscribe button, tell your friends, and get ready for more craziness. And before I forget, I'm going to glue my feet to the floor until the next stream, so I'll need your help to unglue me. It's a sticky situation, but hey, anything for the fans, right? Thanks for tuning in tonight, and I'll see you soon. Stay quirky, stay fabulous, and keep the popcorn coming.